Hello, this is Vicky from the Spellbound Bean Company. In this video I'm going to show you how to make a sweet little dragonfly keyring using a few simple techniques. If you're not familiar with doing a macrame square knot, I'd suggest you go and look at some of the other videos in our macrame playlist and then come back when you're feeling a little more comfortable. To make this keyring you're going to need 160 centimetres of knotting thread. I've gone for a dark red. This is 0.6mm, and you're going to need to cut it into a piece that's 1 metre long and a piece that's 60 centimetres long. You're going to need a 7mm jump ring, 2 size 8 seed beads, these are for the eyes. You could use size 6 if you've got some of those to hand, if that's easier. And then a key ring. I've just got a 25mm split ring. You could use any other key ring of your choice. You could use a lobster clasp or something like that if you prefer. So what I've done is I've started by tying the cord around the small jump ring using a lark's head knot. So this is where you just fold the cord in half, poke it through the ring, and then take the 2 cut ends back through the loop and pull it tight, and that'll just secure that to the jump ring nice and securely. I've then just got a pin, and I've pinned down into my bead mat just to hold that central core straight and steady while we're working. So I'm then going to use the 1 metre length of wire, the 1 metre length of cord, and I'm going to tie this so that the centre of the cord is approximately a centimetre or so down from the lark's head knot. So I'll just put it underneath. Oops. Find the centre. So I'm just folding this in half. Unfortunately that's just off camera, so that the middle is there, and then I'm just going to tie a knot there, and that will just hold it in place. You can make this loop slightly longer or slightly shorter if you wanted to. At this point you can just slide it up and down the cord and do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a square knot. So to do this I'm going to take the left hand cord over the top of the central pair of cords. These are my core cords, and underneath the right hand cord. The right hand cord is going to go underneath the core and then through the loop on the left hand side. And I'm just going to pull that up so that it sits just underneath the knot you've already made. I'm just going to pull that so that it's nice and tight, like so. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to thread the size 8 seed beads onto either end of the knotting cords to represent the eyes. Now if you need to, you can put some clear nail varnish or PVA glue onto the end of this cord, rub it in and leave it to go dry, and that will make like a self-threading needle. But because this cord is freshly cut, the ends haven't had a chance to get worn, so I can just thread it straight on like so. And then what we're going to do with those 2 cords pushed up is we're going to make another 2 square knots that sit underneath the eyes. So like this one here, there's 2 square knots that sit underneath the eyes before we start the wings. So again we're going to take the left hand cord over the top of the core and then underneath, and we're going to take the right hand cord underneath and through the loop. So that's the first half of the knot, and then the second half of the knot we're going to take the left hand side underneath and then over the top, and we're going to take the right hand cord over the top and through, and that will make our first square knot. And there you can see we're holding the beads in place with the knots to just make the eyes. We'll make a second square knot. So again, the left hand one will go over the top, under and through. Just got that caught on the corner of the bead mat. like so. And then the second half, we'll take the left hand cord under and then over, and we'll take the right hand cord over and through. And so that's 2 square knots. Now to make the wings, we're actually going to make a square knot, but we're going to leave a loop on either side of the here and use the knot to secure it in place to make the wings. So to do this, the way I found easiest to do it was to actually pin the loops in place. So I'm going to make the loop the size that I approximately want the wings, and what I've gone for here is approximately 1 inch or 25mm or so if you prefer to work in centimetres and millimetres. And then I'm just going to make the first half of the knot as before, but when I pull that up I need to keep this central. So if you need to use another pin to hold this in place, just do, just to stop it sliding around. And then the second half of the knot we'll make as before, so underneath and over and through. And then if you take your time here, you need to pull the knot up so that it's sitting directly under the knot underneath. And if you can take your time, you can actually just adjust these loops to the length that you'd like them to be. So you can either pull it out like I'm doing on that one, or pull it in. If I get the right cord, that cord. I might just have to work it through a little bit there. And then pull that tight. And then that knot you can actually just slide up so that it sits directly underneath. And there's your first pair of wings. And then we're going to do the same again to make a second pair of wings. These are going to be slightly shorter. So again, make your loop and hold it with a pin. And then make your other loop and hold it with a pin. And that cord needs to go there. And then, oops, make the second half of your knot. So, over and through. Oops. Like so. And again, take your time to make sure your wings are sitting roughly the same length where you want them, and then tighten that knot up. We can take these pins out of the way, because I find the more pins I've got in, the more knots I get in places I don't want them. And then we're just going to continue to make square knots for the length of the body. Now on this one here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we'll just do some of those knots. This is quite soothing to do once you get into a rhythm. It will grow quite quickly. You can obviously do this using a chunkier cord as well if you wanted to. You just need to adjust the size of the beads that you're using for eyes to make sure that they've got a hole large enough to go onto the cord, or you could always stitch them on afterwards if you wanted to. Now I'm just going to give that a push, make sure everything's nice and tight, and we're going to go keep going down until you've got this in the length that you want the body. So if I bring the one I've already done, you can see I've got another 2 or 3 knots to do on the end here. So we'll just finish here. Okay. And we're going over under. Okay, so what you can do now is you've got a couple of options. You can either thread a larger bead, a bead with a larger hole onto the bottom and then just tie a knot underneath it. You can do a braid for a short amount of time, or what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trim these tails down so that they're about 1/4 of an inch, about 5 or 6 millimeters long, and then I'm going to cover them with some clear nail varnish on both sides to stiffen it up, and what you'll get is this sort of slightly pointed tail section here. So we'll cut these off. Oops. With some slightly sharper scissors than I've got. And that is your dragonfly complete. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you'd like to get in touch, you can get in touch via email. Thank you for watching.